minutes at least.
What?
As Kuro goes back to an old favorite. I wouldn't be surprised if Viktor was his most played of all time, having his heyday when Viktor was played by absolutely everyone. But it's been a long time since we've seen the Viktor, and Kuro's going to bring it out here in the mid lane.
Yeah, and there is a reason why we haven't seen Viktor for quite a long time. Great at farming, at a distance, he clears waves very well, but he needs time to get online, and he's very squishy, and there's so much mobility and damage on the side of DAMWON. This is going to be a very difficult Viktor game for Kuro, and he's getting subbed in. He hasn't played for a lot of the second half of the split. It's that one pick, I'm not convinced by it, and you're also going up against ShowMaker's now buffed Lucian. I think that might be... He's also taken Ignite, by the way. That is going to be a crazy lane for Kuro.
Certainly will. Let's see what ShowMaker can make of it. Of course, the reason Kuro's picking it is his most played champion of all time. He's played 45 Viktor games so far. Second most played is going to be Azir at 44. But he does have a 75.6 win rate on the Viktor. Of course, a lot of the Rocks Tigers games where, you know, Kuro was in his heyday was when Viktor was very, very strong. But still, 75% win rate is not bad at all. So let's see whether going back to ultimate comfort is going to be the way that KT can bounce back in this series, because this is a lot of changes as they've changed the entire top side of the map and only left Aiming and TusiN to try and pick up the pieces here against DAMWON, who have a very different composition. Last time it was a very standard early game domination comp, and now it's looking a bit weird. A lot of pick potential, a lot of CC, I guess, from the bottom side of the map. But otherwise, it's just damage, 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 with a lot of split pushing opportunity.
And it's not the easiest comp to play. I mean, this is something you kind of touched on, right? It's a little bit non-standard. It's something that DRX have shown us in the past. It requires really great mechanics. Like, you got to be on the ball. You have to be dodging. Wukong engages. Volibear engages. Lots of skill shots coming out from Kuro and Aiming. It's not going to be easy because you got, you know, essentially 4 squishy champions and then Leona, who's got Aftershock, but is not the tankiest champion in the world. And there's going to be a lot of kiting, a lot of disengaging, a lot of in and outs, you know. And it's definitely something that DAMWON, I have confidence that DAMWON can flex and can play pretty well. Here's the Viktor stats you were talking about, 27 and 7, so almost 80% actually in the LCK.
Yep. Of course, the stats that I had throughout everything, this is the LCK total, so 80% win rate on home soil, not bad at all. For Kuro, this dates back a very long time. And his brother, his Rocks brother, was actually subbed out as he came in destined to not spend time with one another here on the Rift for today's matches is Canyon. He's one of our Lillia players here that has already found success on the champion. In fact, everyone has. She'll be going for 9-0 here in the LCK with a win here, as Kuro is going to get chunked to high heaven, as ShowMaker is already putting on a lot of pressure here in this lane, as Lucian generally does in any lane that he's in.
Yep. That he will. He's going to get very aggressive, and it seems like it was just an overlay bug, by the way. He didn't go Ignite, he actually went Exhaust. So I suppose better for dueling, I guess. The Ignite, definitely better for looking for opportunistic kills. The ward comes down, and notice how they're like, okay, well, where's Volibear? That's kind of strange. And ShowMaker playing very much on the left side will be able to avoid this gank.
Yep, and the red buff is still available as Canyon spins around and secures that one. bonO will find him here, as the Lillia has the red buff and is going to burn him down with the passive as well. But of course, Lillia doesn't do a lot of work with that passive until Leandri's is completed. And it looks like bonO will be able to pick up his red buff at least.
Yeah. This
as bottom lane, not too much going on.
This time we're not going to see Canyon just ending the game at 2.5 minutes. So we're going to have a bit more of an even game to start us off with. I'm curious about this top lane as well. Obviously, Nuguri can and will get really aggressive on this Camille. And it's something that you were highlighting, actually. You're like, well, they don't have Renekton, but Camille's also great for setting up ganks. I mean, she can hook shot, she can ult, especially at level 6. It's so hard to get away from that, as they're trying to collapse now onto BeryL.
Yep, bonO looking to try and get him out of position, but yeah, Storm Strike not really going to be doing too much there. And Canyon's just going to spin around this mid lane with that wave crashing in towards ShowMaker. bonO grabs himself a Rift Scuttler. They're going to trade those as Canyon got the top side one. And now with Kuro getting his health bar back, eating through all of his corrupting charges. Looking pretty good, but that trade is going to change things just a little. As BeryL, okay, going to be able to get out of there, and that was just mistimed by TusiN and aiming, maybe a bit of desperation.
BeryL coming in
want some McDelivery, by the way.
What?
McDelivery.
McDelivery.
That was what we were checking out there on the bottom side, the big McDonald's banners that we now have.
I feel like they removed some of them, by the way. We were talking about how many there were, and in some of the spots...
It depends where we see a lot of fights. Bottom lane, there's a lot.
Yeah, there are. Along that bottom wall.
There
are quite a lot. But I thought there were some towards mid that they might have changed out for some of the other sponsors.
I mean, I like how, as you're talking about them going, like up here, there's 2. And the mid lane that you were talking about, there was one that we were just looking at. Maybe there are a few. Maybe we've got a couple of different rifts that we mix up throughout the day. I'm just not sure. I mean, I need to have a conversation with the marketing team, and maybe it's not what we need to be talking about right now during this game, but right now not too much is going on, sitting at about 0-0, and 200 gold in the lead just based on extra farming as Canyon's going to make his way in. BeryL's ganking as well, as TusiN will land a Winter's Bite, but he's not going to keep his life. Flash comes out of aiming as well, and now TusiN's like, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here, as Nuguri, I don't know what he was doing in this lane, but he's grabbing a kill. And SoHwan was walking back towards the top side. Looks like Nuguri's not going to miss out on too much either as he goes back home as well. Yeah,
notice how they gave that kill to Nuguri. I mean, using that teleport for a gank that was absolutely for sure. They're trying to... This is not going to work. bonO has been looking for so many of these ganks, and none of them have worked. It's been quite sad for the Electric Bear in this game so far, but... Yeah, Nuguri teleporting, he absolutely did not have to. They were going to kill TusiN anyway, so I guess they were like, well, I guess you can have the kill then.
Yeah, and that will help him in the matchup against the Wukong as well. Important to note is that SoHwan does have his teleport still available, so they will be able to potentially find an extra play with the Wukong and with lane control as well. Might be helping out. Still a minute and a half before Shelly does spawn. BeryL's going to find TusiN. But otherwise, it's just DAMWON clearing vision here on the bottom side of the map. First dragon going to be the mountain. As Control Ward once again over the wall. Canyon in position. bonO's coming around as well. 3 versus 3 here as they're looking like they're fighting over a Rift Scuttler that Canyon does not want to give away. Definitely more of a scaling jungler here for DAMWON this time.
찍어볼까 먼저? 먼저 찍고 가볼까? 먼저 찍을게 거기 그냥.
이제 서로 없어.
이지까지.
이거 킬 못. 이제 안 돼. 킬 주라 카메. 카메 먹어.
왜 집 갔나? 왜 집 갔나 보네요.
He wanted to kill Ezreal too, but they were just like, nah.
Yeah, well, he flashed. He was fine.
Yeah, and he was saying something there in the beginning where he was like, should I go? You know, should I look for this? Or maybe, you know, should I pick up the kill? Don't know 100%, but either way, after asking that question a couple of times, he teleported in, so probably asking whether it was worth it for him to go.
And I'd say it was. He now has a 20 CS advantage and a 750 gold lead against the Wukong, and the sooner a Camille gets ahead, the better it is, right? She's going to scale so effectively with every single item purchase and just become a split push menace that KT won't be able to deal with. I mean, who's going to answer her? Like, actually no one. No one can stand in a lane against the Camille in this game.
Yeah, it's not looking likely. I mean, maybe if someone was able to get fed or something like that. Kuro's farming pretty well, as you can see here in the mid lane, but Cull was picked up by ShowMaker to try to get some of that back, and Kuro's not actually going to push just yet. Although, well, here we go. I thought maybe he'd go for a freeze, but no teleport available for him, as he also got exhaust. So maybe he wants to push and then get an item.
Yep. A bit of damage there coming out onto SoHwan topside, but he mitigates a lot of it with the decoy. And it looks like this shove not going to quite be fast enough. Cannon wave, of course. And so ShowMaker probably just going to miss a couple of these minions. And that was Kuro missing the cannon as well. So just bad news bears, but he still has a 20 CS advantage.
That just, like, that kills me.
Yeah, no, the soul takes a few shots for that one.
Just because it, especially the ones that are, like, so lined up. And you know Jonah Strong or Observer's just, like, zooming into it as well. Look at this. Nuguri's trying to bait a play here onto SoHwan, but he does not bite the bait.
Nope. BeryL going to go back home, as, of course, just doesn't like spending time with Ghost, as we know. TusiN making his way back down towards this bottom side, but it looks like Ghost is going to be able to get to the safety of his turret. And no issues there at all. A slower game here for DAMWON, but that's what the composition sort of asks for with the Lillia instead of something like the Nidalee. This Ghost is looking to go back home, perfectly even on farm with aiming.
As all things should be. And he had some really nice CSing as well, just really clean. Able to get all of those, no problem, very fast as well. Sometimes, you know, players will just let the turret, you know, hit the minions a couple times, right? This is something that you see from pro players, though, is where they'll be hitting the minions because they're trying to kill them faster so that they can get a better back and get back to the lane faster and on time so they don't miss anything. And that's exactly what Ghost was doing, so shout out to him. BeryL has been all over the map, by the way, just leaving Ghost alone. He's like, this is my job, I'm going to roam now, even though he's not level 6.
Just doesn't really like hanging out with Ghost, apparently. Like we were talking about before, build Water Cutlass, speaking of Ghost, is going to be completed, so not going to go for the Essence Reaver build or anything like that. Still Blade of the Ruin King going to be picked up, and possibly Essence Reaver coming in second, if unless he wants to go for the Runar's Hurricane, which I guess is more common for the Ashe. And topside, you've got Nuguri just waiting for a bit of extra gold in order to pick up his Trinity Force, and then he's going to be extraordinarily dangerous. And SoHwan, you can see, very far behind as far as that build. And when you're talking about, like, stats in order to, like, go to battle against one another, having a Sapphire Crystal in comparison to a Sheen is way more than the 800 gold, actually, because Sapphire Crystal does actually nothing in a battle.
That's true. And here's Canyon. He's looking for a play. Nuguri trying to set up the gank like we were talking about.
Yep, they get the ult out pretty comfortably there as the passive will come down, but not going to put the bear to sleep just yet.
Wukong's still
now,
up here.
SoHwan. Yeah. Danger. Swell Seed will connect with the decoy.
They got the decoy out of
done
him.
from SoHwan.
But they're not looking to gank because bonO is here, and it's very obvious. So TusiN is also roaming up towards the top side, trying to not be outdone by BeryL and get around the map.
Yep. Runic Echo is now completed as the Watch Out Eep does come through for the E-Bung. And Canyon's going to steal... Oh, no. Caught shopping here is Canyon. And that is going to be KT's first kill. Pretty comfy one there as well as, yeah, bit of an oopsie for Canyon.
Yeah. Goes from the most obvious player of the game into, well, not able to do too much in this one. And we talked about how that jungle matchup can affect certain lanes. Now Nuguri's going to have to play a little bit more safe. Although it is Nuguri, so I don't know how safe he will actually play as he's here down the lane. You know, he could have set up a freeze there, but decides against it. Wants to just push. Maybe he can bait a teleport out of SoHwan or something. But not going to be the case.
Could possibly get himself some plates as well up there towards the top side. Someone's been holding onto that teleport for a really long time. So long that Nuguri has his back available again. BeryL was looking for it. Solar Flare going to get just the slow as the arrow flies off into the nether and now aiming over the wall. They're going as aggressively as they can as DAMWON are going to regroup. And the flash out from Ghost will get him to safety. The culling just going to go wide as the death ray from Kuro is starting to get scary now that it has been upgraded. Or augmented, if you will. And KT looking like they have a little bit more about them in this particular game.
Yeah, it's a little bit of DAMWON reaching, right? They try to hard engage onto the Volibear in the enemy jungle. This is something we've seen many teams get clawed out by And you could see that they immediately realized their mistake there. They didn't stick around. They immediately started running away. Ghost flashed when he had to. After they expended so many ultimates to try to make this happen, as Canyon is just, well...
Why do we get this replay? Do we need this replay?
Well, we got to see how he tried to get away with his empowered recall.
Would have been better. Would have been better to have Pro View to see whether he was in the shop.
Yeah, that's true. So,
yeah,
you can take it up with production after the show.
Yeah, I'll talk to Jonas Strong about it afterwards.
Yeah, but
there's Kuro clearing out the mid lane quite nicely, and ShowMaker makes his way back there as well. Nuguri over here, just pushing waves endlessly, but the plates have gone down, and they haven't been able to get too many. I'm actually pretty sure Shelly dissipated. I don't think Canyon was able to use her because he was killed. Oh, did they use it mid?
Yeah, they got a couple of
themselves a bit of a charge. Okay, well, there's the Hextech ultimatum as SoHwan, yeah, he's dead. He is going to fall asleep, and Nuguri is going to eventually pick up that kill after waiting for the ability to come up.
Should have thrown out an emote there.
An emote,
that was the best time. He's got to work on his emote game. He's good at other stuff, but that's one thing he can work on. But yeah, nice gank setup. They finally make it happen. A little bit delayed. And this is where most of DAMWON's power is going to come, actually, in this game. It will be the top lane. Nuguri, they gave him the kill down on the bottom side. They gave him the kill here. He's already got Trinity Force at 15 minutes. And 2 kills. Will be able to clear out that top turret eventually on top of everything. So he's going to be a massive menace for them to deal with in this game.
Yeah, aiming, throwing out some mystic shots here towards the bottom side, but like you were talking about, Nuguri takes down that turret. He must be sitting on so much gold. Cashed in the cull, 2 kills. He's just gigantic. Surely going to be taken here by Canyon also. It's going to go back home, and let's see where Shirley is going to park herself. Already, Haunting Guy's done for Canyon, not too far away from the Leandries, and a lot of extra damage as the bowling ball sails towards the wall. Shout out to Uri Bank there, as it gets right in between the 2 flags.
Thanks, Uri Bank.
Yeah, look at... Canyon's just like farming Ghost's lane for him from like halfway down it.
Might as well. And, yeah, things are going pretty well, pretty quietly this game for DAMWON, right? Game number 1 was very obvious. Just like, well, massive jungle difference, and Canyon just rolling over Malrong. But this game was just like little wins here and there. Nuguri getting super far ahead of his opponent up in the top side, but he hasn't, he hasn't totally blown the game open by now. But I mean, if you look at the gold, and they're already 4,000 gold ahead, even though PT did get the 2 Drakes, which is nice, but will they get the next 4? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, it's mainly just the top lane. Nuguri is just so far ahead of the Wukong.
A lot of plates too, I guess.
Yeah, Wukong will still be very relevant with the fact that, AoE CC, things like that, being able to get into the backline and try and get some damage down onto Ghost. But he'll never be able to split push against the Camille. She's just too good at it. As now, she's pushing waves into an inner turret and feeling like she's just happily able to take down side lanes. Tiamat now done as well as the Caulfield's Warhammer. 30% CDR. I mean, this Camille is about as happy as you can possibly be.
Yep, just loving life right now. And that's exactly where Nuguri wants to be. It's not the 0-2 power spike, it's the 2-0 power spike, 2 games in a row.
Yep. And he hasn't just entered right afterwards as well in this game, so very impressive. TusiN puts up the door. As Arrow's going to connect onto Kuro. There's the layering of CC, and that's a very dead Viktor.
Yeah.
And Shirley's going to take down the turret in the meantime as they put TusiN to sleep, and Canyon is going to canter forward. Not sure whether deer canter, but I'm just going to say that they do, because they
what is going on?
Move a little bit like a horse. And,
are they
just going to take an inhibitor turret as well? I think they are, yeah.
Are they?
Shirley is going to get another charge.
They're trying not to kill the inhibitor.
Yeah, they don't really want to.
Let it go down.
Yeah, bonO's going to let it die.
Oh, man.
They want to. I like that. Intelligent play out of KT, making sure that they can freeze this lane if necessary, utilizing those super creeps. But let's see whether DAMWON can keep up the pressure and allow it to be a positive instead of a negative, like we talk about so often.
LS would have been so happy casting casting them not killing that one. But either way, notice that Kuro, he took Exhaust for the lane, but now he doesn't have Cleanse against Ashe Arrow, against Leona Solar Flare, against Camille that could potentially stun him. It's pretty rough with a lot of the CC that DWG do have, and he didn't flash it either. I mean, you got to flash there. You have to know that you're dead in that scenario, but just didn't. Tried to save it.
Well, DWG don't want to let Soul Point go their way, as SoHwan's going to throw out the Cyclone. Nuguri now fighting the Drake as Ghost is free hitting in the backline, flashes out from about everyone as Canyon doesn't have the ulti anymore, but yeah, the Volibear doesn't have his life, and TusiN is going to suffer the same fate. Ghost picks up that kill. Kuro now with a Chaos Storm there, but almost last hit with an arrow, but instead they're going to send that one doing laps around Runeterra.
Are they going to try to end?
I mean, they got super creeps in the mid lane. Maybe they just go for it. Okay, 19 and a half minutes, like you're talking about. They're looking for the end of this one. Canyon's going to move in. ShowMaker takes a bit of an ultimate there from aiming, as now BeryL just tanking up SoHwan, who's put into the decoy, and yeah, Nuguri's going to be able to take that one down. Second Nexus turret is going to fall. BeryL at about 100 health, looking comfortable as ever as he Zenith blades in. Aiming's going to die. Nuguri's huge, picks up the double, and ShowMaker will be able to take down bonO, and at 20 minutes on the dot, the Nexus is going to go down. In game 1, they killed a Baron at 20 minutes. In game 2, they win the game at 20 minutes, and this game was way closer. Valdez, like, I don't understand. Why does it end 10 minutes sooner as it's